It all begins with a devastated married couple whose lives have never been the same after a terrible tragedy. Some time ago, their only son died in a heartbreaking accident, leaving them shattered. The loss destroyed their world, and doctors told them they would never be able to have another child. Even so, their love for children never faded. Hoping to fill the emptiness in their lives, they decide to adopt a young boy from an orphanage. At the orphanage, the director shows them a photograph of a quiet, innocent-looking child named Cody. The couple instantly feels a connection with him and eagerly brings him home, welcoming him as the newest member of their family. Once he arrives, Cody seems incredibly polite and mature for his age. He greets his adoptive parents with respect and quietly begins adjusting to his new surroundings. But there's one strange thing. His eyes keep drifting toward an old family photograph hanging on the wall. At the time, no one realizes that this seemingly ordinary picture will later become a crucial piece of the mystery. That night, his adoptive mother, Jessie, tucks him into bed, wishes him good night, and leaves the room. But the moment everyone falls asleep, Cody suddenly sits up. He grabs an energy drink and gulps it down, doing everything he can to stay awake. Then he opens his favorite book about butterflies and starts reading, almost as if falling asleep is something he desperately wants to avoid. The next day, Cody starts attending his new school. Most of the students welcome him warmly, and little by little, he begins fitting into his new life. Meanwhile, Jessie is unpacking his belongings when she notices a small box hidden among his things. Inside, she finds medication designed to help people stay awake. The discovery feels unusual, but she doesn't think much of it at first. Later that night, Jessie asks Cody why he takes those pills. Nervously, the little boy reveals something shocking. He says he's terrified of going to sleep because every time he does, a horrifying creature appears. According to Cody, that same monstrous force took his real mother away from him forever. Jessie assumes it's just the imagination of a traumatized child. She comforts him, reassures him that he's safe, and heads back to her own room. But before the night is over, something happens that completely changes her perspective. While Jessie and her husband Mark are watching television, a beautiful butterfly suddenly flutters through the room. Within moments, one butterfly becomes dozens, then hundreds. Before they know it, the entire house is filled with vibrant, colorful butterflies, making it feel as though the walls have opened into a magical world. The couple watches in stunned silence, unable to believe what they're seeing. But in the middle of this beautiful moment, something strange happens. A massive black moth, looking almost like a symbol of death, lands on Jessie's hand and suddenly bites her. At that exact moment, she gets the chilling feeling that someone is standing right behind her. She slowly turns around, but there's no one there. For just a split second, she catches a glimpse of a terrifying, shadowy figure before it vanishes into thin air. When she looks around the room again, every single butterfly has disappeared, as if they were never there in the first place. That night, Jessie can't fall asleep. She walks into the kitchen to get a glass of water when she suddenly senses a small child standing behind her. She spins around instantly, but once again, no one is there. Then, without warning, a cabinet door slams shut all by itself. Now her fear starts growing. She cautiously follows the sound, and what she sees next nearly stops her heart. Out of the darkness, a little boy slowly steps into the light. It's the very same child she lost years ago. The glass slips from her hand and crashes to the floor. Staring at her dead son standing right in front of her, Jessie can't tell whether she's dreaming, hallucinating, or witnessing a miracle. Before she can process what's happening, the boy suddenly runs toward the part of the house where he died. Jessie chases after him, and with every step, the painful memories she tries so hard to bury come flooding back to life. Meanwhile, Cody's life takes another turn. A troubled new kid arrives at school, and all the other children stay away from him. Even Cody seems nervous whenever he's around the boy. Later that night, Mark notices Cody staring at the family photo again. He gently explains that the little boy in the picture was their son, Sean. When Cody asks where Sean is now, Mark and Jessie sadly tell him that he's no longer in this world. As the night grows darker, Cody struggles to keep his eyes open. He fights sleep with everything he has, but eventually exhaustion wins and he drifts off. The moment Cody falls asleep, Mark wakes up to something unbelievable. A beautiful butterfly lands softly on his hand. Confused, he wakes Jessie, but the next second, both of them freeze in shock. Standing right in front of them is Sean, alive. Neither of them can believe their eyes. Overcome with emotion, Jesse rushes toward him. She touches his face, holds him close, and for one brief moment, it feels like years of grief have simply melted away. But Sean only smiles. He barely says a word. Suddenly, Cody wakes up, and Sean vanishes into thin air. Cody comes downstairs, embarrassed by what happened, and apologizes to them. Then he grabs his energy drink and quietly heads back to his room. The next morning, he reveals a shocking secret. He tells them that his dreams actually come true. Whenever he has a pleasant dream, the things he sees somehow appear in the real world. The couple is stunned. At first, it sounds impossible, but after everything they've witnessed with their own eyes, they can't completely dismiss what he's saying. Meanwhile, Jesse's longing to see her late son, Sean, grows even stronger. She shows Cody some old family videos recorded on DVD. The footage is filled with Christmas memories of Sean happily celebrating with his parents. As they watch, Jesse keeps talking about the little things that made Sean special. His laugh, the way he hugged people, and how he showed his love. Deep down, she isn't really talking to Cody anymore. She's desperately trying to keep the memories of her lost son alive. That night, Mark asks Jesse to go to bed, but she refuses. It's not fear that's keeping her awake, it's hope. She believes that if Cody falls asleep again, Sean might come back. So she keeps drinking cup after cup of coffee, determined to stay awake. A little while later, a magical light suddenly spreads throughout the house. Glowing butterflies begin fluttering through every room, a Christmas tree appears out of nowhere, and the entire place transforms into something that feels straight out of a dream. Then Sean walks down the stairs. This time everything is different. He's not just an illusion anymore. He can actually speak. Jessie talks with him, hugs him, and for a brief moment, it feels like she has her son back. The joy on her face is beyond words. But while this miracle unfolds, something far more terrifying is taking shape. Hundreds of butterflies slowly gather together in one spot until they merge into a horrifying black figure. The sinister entity silently makes its way into Cody's bedroom, leans close to his ear, and whispers that it will always stay with him. Terrified, Cody suddenly wakes up. The instant he opens his eyes, Sean and every magical thing inside the house disappear. Now Cody is more frightened than ever, while Jessie has become even more obsessed with the miracle she experienced. The next day, when Mark returns home, he finds every wall covered with pictures of Sean. His wife is no longer able to separate reality from fantasy. That night, the couple gets into a heated argument. Mark insists that Jessie needs rest and help, but all she can think about is seeing Sean again. He tries to convince her that whatever they're seeing isn't their real son. Consumed by grief and unable to let go, Jessie refuses to listen. Mark, furious and overwhelmed, rips every picture off the walls. But instead of making things better, it only fills the house with even more tension. Meanwhile, Cody's problems at school are far from over. He brings his favorite butterfly to class, carefully kept inside a glass jar. But the class bully starts picking on him and deliberately smashes the jar. Enraged, Cody shoves the boy. The situation is quickly broken up, but the fear inside Cody only grows stronger. Later during class, Cody begins struggling to stay awake. He knows that if he falls asleep, something terrible could happen. Desperate to keep himself alert, he even digs his fingernails into his own palms. His teacher notices how exhausted he looks and suggests he rest in the nurse's room. But that's where the same bully is, and Cody is too scared to go there. He chooses to stay in the classroom instead. Eventually, exhaustion wins. The moment Cody dozes off, a horrifying nightmare becomes reality. The same terrifying shadow creature suddenly appears inside the classroom. The bully freezes in absolute terror as he stares at the monster. Just then, another student walks in and also catches sight of the horrifying figure. A second later, the creature slowly starts moving toward the boy. Screams echo throughout the classroom. The sound jolts Cody awake, but by then it's already too late. When teachers and students rush in, the bully has mysteriously vanished without a trace. At this point, it's no longer just about strange dreams. Cody's nightmares have started claiming real lives. On the way home from school, he sees police cars outside and instantly panics. Deep down, he realizes something horrible has happened because of him. That night, Cody sits alone in his room reading a book when he hears a strange noise. Nervously, he grabs a flashlight and slowly shines it under his bed. There's nothing there, But somehow, Cody knows something is still hiding in the darkness. Then, without warning, the ghostly image of the missing bully suddenly appears before him. Cody is terrified. Elsewhere, Jessie begins noticing something equally unsettling. She keeps hearing the voice of her late son Sean calling out to her, but she can never understand what he's trying to say. At the same time, Cody suddenly wakes up in panic, repeating the same words over and over. "I'm awake! I'm awake!" He's desperately trying to keep himself from falling asleep because he knows just how deadly his nightmares can be. Jessie immediately comforts him and promises that everything will be okay. The next day, she visits a doctor and explains that Cody hasn't been getting proper sleep for days. Believing the child simply needs rest, the doctor prescribes sleeping pills so he can finally get some sleep. On the other side, Cody's adoptive father, Mark, returns home from work only to find two police officers waiting for him. They're investigating the disappearance of a local schoolboy, and Cody was the last person known to have seen him. Fear is written all over Cody's face, but he stays completely silent. That night, Jessie makes a decision she believes will solve everything. Without telling anyone, she secretly mixes sleeping medicine into Cody's dinner and milk, convinced that if he can finally get a peaceful night's sleep, all of their problems will disappear. After dinner, Mark tucks Cody into bed and reads him a bedtime story. Under the effect of the medication, Cody falls asleep almost immediately. Downstairs, Mark and Jessie have a serious conversation. Mark tells her that instead of living in the memories of Sean, they need to accept Cody as their own son and move forward. After a long pause, Jessie finally begins to agree. But then, something terrifying appears behind them. Sean suddenly shows up again, carrying a large, mysterious box. Jessie's face lights up with happiness as she rushes toward him, but within seconds, her smile vanishes. Sean slowly opens his mouth, and thick black liquid starts pouring out. Then dozens of dark moths crawl out from inside him. In that horrifying moment, they realize the truth. The figure standing before them isn't really Sean at all. It's something else, something far more sinister. Suddenly, the giant box cracks open, and a massive creature emerges from within. Its body looks like it's made of pure darkness and death as it slowly spreads throughout the house. Mark instantly recognizes it as the nightmare monster that has haunted Cody's dreams for so long. He races upstairs, desperately trying to wake Cody. But because of the sleeping pills, Cody is trapped in a deep sleep. And the longer he remains asleep, the stronger the monster becomes. Downstairs, Jessie locks the door, hoping to keep the creature out. But this isn't something any human can stop. With a single powerful strike, the door shatters into pieces. Mark gathers every ounce of courage he has and confronts the monster, determined to protect his family. But this is no ordinary enemy. Within moments, the creature overpowers him. Jessie is caught in its attack as well and collapses unconscious. The next morning, when she finally opens her eyes, her entire world has changed. The police are already inside the house. They inform Jessie that Cody is being sent back into foster care. During the investigation, officers discovered sleeping medication in the child's milk, making the situation look even more suspicious. After asking a few questions, they take Cody away. And just like that, Jessie is left completely alone. Mark is gone. Cody was gone from her life, and all that remained was a painful memory. Consumed by guilt and regret, she decides that she has to uncover the truth about him. She heads to the orphanage and starts questioning the staff, but no one is willing to help. The only thing they give her is the contact information for a psychologist, along with a clear warning to stay away from the case. But she refuses to give up. Sneaking around, she manages to get her hands on Cody's confidential file. As she reads through it, she's completely shocked. She discovers that Cody had been adopted by several families before. But something terrible happened every single time. People either disappeared under mysterious circumstances or ended up dead. Inside the file, she finds the address of one former guardian who is still alive and immediately goes to meet him. The man explains that at first their life with Cody was wonderful. They believed he was like an angel sent into their home. But everything changed when his wife became seriously ill. Cody was devastated to see her suffering, and that very night he had a horrifying nightmare. Then the impossible happened. The creature from his nightmare appeared in the real world, and the man watched helplessly as his wife died right in front of him. Broken by grief and loneliness, he made the same mistake Sean's parents are making now. He started showing Cody old photographs of his late wife, hoping the boy would dream about her again. Eventually, Cody fell asleep, and she came back. At least that's what it looked like. The woman resembled his wife, but she wasn't truly her. Back then, Cody was still very young and couldn't accurately remember what she looked like. The figure that returned was only a distorted version created from his fading memories and imagination. That's when the man realized a horrifying truth. The people who return from Cody's dreams aren't real. They're incomplete shadows built from the fragments of what he remembers. He admits there was a time when he even hated Cody. After losing his wife, he blamed the child for everything that had happened. One night, while Cody was asleep, the man walked into his room carrying a gun, fully intending to end it once and for all. But when he looked at the innocent little boy sleeping peacefully, he couldn't pull the trigger. After hearing his story, Jesse asks about Cody's biological mother. The man says he only knows one thing: she's no longer alive. How she died, however, remains a mystery. Determined to uncover the truth, Jesse travels to an old hospital and searches for her medical records. Buried in the files, she finds a reference to the woman's personal belongings, which had been stored in a warehouse. She rushes there and opens the dusty bag. Inside, she finds an old butterfly doll, a few personal items, and a diary. From this point on, Jesse finally starts uncovering the most important truth about Cody's past. Meanwhile, another terrible mistake happens at the orphanage. The staff decides to calm Cody down by giving him a sedative. As soon as the medicine puts him into a deep sleep, something horrifying begins to spread throughout the entire building. Swarms of black moths suddenly appear everywhere. When Jesse and Natalie arrive at the orphanage, Jesse can tell from a distance that something has gone horribly wrong. The moment she steps inside, she's surrounded by impossible and terrifying sights. Several people are trapped inside giant cocoon-like shells, yet somehow they're still alive. Then she keeps hearing the voice of her late son, Sean, calling out to her. Following the sound, she enters another room and sees the old bathtub. Without warning, the water transforms into blood, and Sean appears in front of her once again. But this time, Jesse doesn't fall for it. She realizes that it isn't really Sean. It's only an illusion created from her grief and painful memories. For the very first time, she chooses to let go of her son's ghostly image and walks forward without looking back. A few moments later, she catches sight of Cody, but in the blink of an eye, a strange woman suddenly appears before her. Soon after, she's confronted by the horrifying image of her own husband as well. It finally becomes clear that the entire orphanage has been transformed into a dream world, made from Cody's nightmares and memories. As Jesse walks through the hallways, she notices hundreds of cocoons hanging everywhere. Suddenly, she remembers something Cody once told her. Butterflies have to stay protected until they're ready to fly. That's when everything finally starts making sense. She reaches Cody's room and finds him sleeping peacefully in a deep sleep. But at that exact moment, the terrifying monster that has haunted Cody for years emerges from the darkness. The creature slowly moves toward her. Yet instead of running away, Jesse pulls out the butterfly doll that once belonged to Cody's mother and holds it up in front of the monster. Instantly, it freezes. Then she carefully walks closer and wraps her arms around it. And suddenly, something miraculous happens. The monster's horrifying appearance begins to crack apart. Layer by layer, the terrifying shell falls away, revealing the heartbreaking truth hidden beneath. The creature was never a real monster. It was the physical manifestation of Cody's childhood fears, trauma, and fragmented memories. Within moments, it completely disappears. Jesse gently lifts Cody into her arms, places the butterfly doll on his chest, and softly whispers, "Let them go." As those words echo through the room, the entire nightmare world begins to collapse. The cocoons vanish one by one, and the black moths transform into beautiful butterflies as the orphanage slowly returns to normal. The next day, a woman finally tells Cody the truth about his real mother. He learns that she loved him more than anything. Even when he was very young, she realized her son possessed extraordinary abilities. She knew the world might never understand him, but she never stopped loving him. Sadly, she was later diagnosed with cancer, and her condition kept getting worse. Eventually, she was forced to find a foster family that could take care of Cody. One day, while lying in the hospital, she made one final request: to see her son one last time. But the disease had changed her appearance so much that little Cody couldn't even recognize his own mother. It shattered her heart. Even so, she held him close and used the last of her strength to whisper, "I'll always be with you." That single moment changed everything. Cody's innocent mind is permanently locked onto the final image of his mother, her weakened body, her altered face, and those last words. Over time, those memories twisted themselves inside his dreams and took the form of a terrifying monster. The truth is, the creature was never a demon at all. It was simply the last image of Cody's mother, an image his young mind was too frightened to understand. And when this truth is finally revealed, Cody is able to face his greatest fear for the very first time. The movie ends here, but it leaves behind a deeply emotional message. Sometimes the scariest monsters aren't hiding outside in the darkness. They're hidden inside our own pain, memories, and unresolved fears. It's a film that not only terrifies you but also touches your heart, leaving an emotional impact long after the credits roll. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also, subscribe to this channel for more.